Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that you could hear every single thought of the people around you, and they could hear yours. Sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? But what if this was real? What if one day everyone suddenly had this ability? This wouldn't be the elusive cinematic telepathy of superhero movies. This would be a constant mental radio broadcast where every thought, every fleeting idea, or any embarrassing jingle stuck in someone's head would be transmitted in real time to everyone around. It's like everyone wearing mental Bluetooth headsets and endlessly streaming and receiving unfiltered brainwaves. No secrets, no filters, just raw, unedited thoughts floating around like a 24/7 podcast nobody ever asked for. Would this be a utopia of pure honesty, or the fastest descent into chaos the world has ever seen? Let's dive into this mind-boggling scenario and see where it takes us. Welcome to the New World Order, where privacy is extinct. Everyday life would transform into a comedy of spontaneous revelations. On one hand, misunderstandings would vanish as true feelings and honest comments would be in the open. On the other, resentments and wounded pride would skyrocket. Compliments would no longer be sugar-coated, as everyone would know exactly what others are really thinking. Imagine knowing exactly what someone thought about your new haircut, including that one thought comparing it to a bird's nest. Politically correct statements? They would be a things of the past. Likes, dislikes, judgments, all would be on display. What would be life in school? Absolutely chaotic. Secret crushes would be exposed before the morning bell. Devious pranks? They would be easily predictable and debunked the second they are conceived. Smart excuses for not submitting homework, "my dog ate my homework," would be lame and useless. Teachers would hear the truth screaming in your mind, "I binge-watched Netflix instead." Also, they might finally know who genuinely enjoyed the lessons and who was mentally planning their next snack break. Group projects would turn into mental wrestling matches, with everyone trying to dominate the collective brainpower. Exams and academic honesty? No need to cheat, when students could simply tune into the brainwaves of the class nerd. Studying would either become remarkably efficient or turn into a mental Spotify, buffering random thoughts. Why do we even need algebra? Public places would be a symphony of awkwardness and turn into accidental confession booths. Imagine sitting in a park, unintentionally eavesdropping on breakups, secret insecurities, or coming to know how someone mentally composing their grocery list. That romantic gesture of offering roses might lose its charm when everyone around hears the couples still thinking about their exes. The man feeding pigeons might reveal that he is doing it just to avoid his wife's nagging. That person with his pet dog? He is mentally calculating his monthly expenses on pet food. City streets would be alive with mental chatter, from mundane musings, "Did I leave the stove on?" to scandalous secrets, "I hope nobody noticed I haven't showered in 2 days." Nothing would be hidden. Rush hour commuters would broadcast their frustrations in stereo. A stranger's passing glance might come with a subtitle, "Nice shoes, but that face doesn't match." Every silent elevator ride would turn into a dissonance of mental monologues and awkward self-critiques. Dining out would no longer rely on any kind of reviews. The person at the next table eating curry might mentally be cursing the chef. The waiter recommending the house special would silently beg you not to order it. And the chefs in kitchen? They would be just waiting for their shifts to end. Surprise party plans? Forget it. The birthday boy would know even before the first balloon was blown up. Couples on dates would hear every doubt and internal debate, making candlelit dinners feel like interrogation chambers. Workplaces would become pressure cookers of brewing ambitions and simmering grudges. Promotions would be based purely on merit, or whoever thought the nicest things about their boss. Those afternoon meetings? They would be welcomed with spontaneous remarks like, "This could have been an email." Job interviews would finally cut straight to the truth. No rehearsed answers. Just raw intentions like, "I really just need the paycheck." Water cooler gossip would disappear and replaced with mental monologues that no longer needed whispering. And the boss? He would be a mental punching bag. Social norms would collapse faster than your Wi-Fi during a Zoom call. Small talk would disappear and would be replaced with brutally honest remarks. Flirting would become a non-starter. Friends' requests would open up a minefield of exposed insecurities. Every polite "I don't mind" would be followed by an unfiltered "Yes, I absolutely do." Family gatherings would turn into reality shows where hidden judgments and lifelong grudges would finally be seeing daylight. Close relationships would face the ultimate test. Couples could hear each other's true feelings even without a word. No more white lies or diplomatic answers. Those classic questions like, "Do I look fat?" would get an instant and unfiltered response, "Not fat, just fluffy." The age-old excuse of "I have a headache" would finally be exposed for what it really meant: "I would rather watch my favorite show." Classic phrases like "I love you" or "I miss you" would automatically have reality check alerts. Kids would see right through parental scoldings. Marriage counselors would be out of business, while divorce lawyers would thrive. Sports and games would lose their charm. Chess and poker would be history. Every move, every strategy would be like an open book. Stadiums would probably go empty. Spectators would know the game plans before the players even executed them. Matches would turn into predictable snooze fest. Businesses, politics, they would go through complete overhaul without deception and lies. Salespeople would struggle to pitch products they didn't genuinely believe in. Politicians would face their ultimate dilemma. No more empty promises or alluring dreams, but just raw ambitions. Imagine election campaigns where candidates would spill their real intentions openly in public. And their public debates would have more viewership than any reality TV show. Crime would nosedive overnight. Deception would be impossible, making interrogations unnecessary. Bank robbers would be surprised to find the cops waiting for them in the vault, as their plans would have been broadcasted in advance. Espionage and covert operations would become relics of the past. Magicians and mentalists would have no takers. Detectives and undercover agents would fade away. Therapists would no longer need to ask questions to their patients. Motivational speakers would lose credibility if their inner doubts contradicted their outward messages. Imagine a self-help guru thinking, "Even I don't believe this nonsense." Stand-up comedians would become global sensations, broadcasting their punchlines straight from their minds. Yoga and meditation would be humanity's last hope. What would be the bigger picture? Communication itself would evolve. Language barriers would dissolve, and empathy might skyrocket. Honesty would become the default and would be leading to fewer scams and lesser fake news. And of course, all this mental chatter would have a dramatic effect on our emotional landscape. Anger, you would get a direct download of someone's simmering rage. Love, prepare for an overload of sentimental thoughts. Hypocrisy, well, that would become painfully obvious. Imagine someone saying, "I'm so happy for you," while their mind screamed just the opposite. Mental peace and sanity, they would remain ever elusive. It would become impossible to unwind or have any personal space. Mental health apps would be offering mind-silencing subscriptions at premium rates. Meditation apps would be trending and facilitating temporary mind-silencing services. Neural noise-canceling headphones would be the latest gadget in market. People would be queuing up for it like they were the latest iPhone. What if hearing thoughts had been the norm since the dawn of humanity? Perhaps society would have evolved differently with honesty and empathy as cornerstones. Relationships would have been built on pure honesty. Jobs would be aligning with natural talents. Truth would have been in every word and every interaction would have been genuine. Brutal honesty would have become the social currency. Exploitation, conflicts, wars, maybe they would never existed. Anyway, science is already exploring brain-computer interfaces and AI-based brainwave interpretation. And then, there is quantum entanglement, where two particles, even light years apart, react instantly when one is changed. Imagine if human thoughts worked the same way. A world of mind reading would be a paradox, offering both transparency and turmoil, empathy and exhaustion. So, what if everyone could hear each other's thoughts? Would it bring humanity closer together? Or it would destroy the very fabric of our existence? And the bigger question, would the ethical implications outweigh the potential benefits? Perhaps thoughts are meant to be private. To preserve the beauty of mystery, the power of silence and the poetry of things left unsaid. Maybe, just maybe, our ability to choose what to share and what to keep for ourselves is what makes us human. What do you think? Could you handle hearing everyone's thoughts? Drop your comments below. Until next time.